masters. If ever there was a body of men who merited eternal damnation on earth and in hell, it is this society of Loyolas, the Jesuits. Now, in the book General Montholon, Memorial of the Captivity of Napoleon of St. Helena, page 62, Napoleon Bonaparte made this statement: "The Jesuits are a military organization, not a religious order. Their chief is a general of an army, not the mere father abbot of a monastery. And the aim of this organization is power. Power in its most despotic exercise. Absolute power, universal power, power to control the world by the volition of a single man." And it goes on.
Well, we know that the superior general, Adolfo Nicolas Pachon, I mean, he's general. I mean, they don't even hide what they call themselves, a superior general. And all the Jesuits are, as you said, people that are mixed in with society. You wouldn't even know who they were.
Exactly.
I mean, they're all, what did Marshall McLuhan say? He warned us that the arts and sciences are in the pockets of the secret societies, and that includes the Freemasons, Rosicrucians, the Popery, and of course that would include the Jesuits. And I mean, they're all the secret societies, aren't they?
And because they're really, remember the office of the Caesar in Rome, who claimed divinity, the Caesars claimed divinity. Not all of them, but most of them, Vespasian and Caligula, and the list is on our site, and we've talked about it before. When the Roman Empire fell, the office of Caesar went into and became the papacy.
Exactly.
And disguised itself as a religious order.
You mean Rome Land Security?
Right, exactly. And, of course, as it says, Napoleon said these people want to control the world. Now, that's why we start with Pinky and the Brain. This little cartoon just shows how crazy and insane the leaders of this world are.
Well, did you hear about this? The Pope used a belt to whip himself. It's called self-mortification. And he slept on a bare floor. I mean, this is kind of kooky, isn't it?
Oh.
Do you think that's pretty kooky? I'm mortified at his self-mortification. Look at that.
It doesn't sound very truly spiritually Christian, something, does it?
Well, that was
it's
Pope John Paul II.
It's very Babylonian.
He whipped himself with a belt.
Yes.
Even on vacation, and slept on the floor as acts of penitence and to bring himself closer to Christian perfection. According to a new book by the Polish prelate spearheading his sainthood case. They don't want to canonize him.
Right.
Wow. Had you ever heard about that before?
I've seen it. I've heard of it. They've shown it in movies, yes. Now, interesting, we've talked about this guy before, British broadcasting journalist Averell Manhattan. In his book, The Dollar and the Vatican, Ozark Publishers, he said, the Vatican condemned the Declaration of Independence as, quote, wickedness.
Didn't they kill him?
And called the they did kill him.
Kill him.
And called the Constitution of the United States a satanic document, unquote. So,
wow.
And of course, now that's why originally they threw the Jesuits, Jefferson,
with the papal bull,
kept,
and they
kept them out. Not with the they
they kicked them out, but you know,
they gypsied and wormed their way back in, and have now taken control of the United States.
You wrote a little song about that one time, about the Gypsy Queens. Remember?
Yeah, that's right. We haven't sung that song in quite a while.
It's the sole contracted son of the secret cell.
Oh, Joyce wrote that.
Yeah, Joyce. No, so the sole contracted son of the secret cell
groped through life.
Dejected
at the expense of the taxpayer,
dejected into day and night, with Jesuit bark and bitter bite.
Exactly. Yeah. So we shouldn't be surprised if Bush and his fellow altar boys are pushing the Jesuit program. And we shouldn't be surprised to see Obama issuing executive orders that destroy constitutional liberties. And we shouldn't be surprised to see Congress passing laws that destroy constitutional liberties either. And the State of the Union address this week was just another perfect example.
What did you call it before? You called
the
it
spate of the Union.
The spate of the Union address.
Exactly.
Well, it was a lot of...
Now that was grade A bullshit.
Yeah.
Did you find?
Yeah. Just to summarize what Hughes says here, and I suggest everybody get this book by Bill Hughes called The Secret Terrorists, because all the terrorists, all the jihads, are all planned and issued out of Rome, as
You
we
mean
said
the Sword
last
of
week.
Islam?
And the Sword of Islam, yep, exactly.
Well,
Now, we'll get to the Skolnick thing in a minute, but I just want to...
Lenny,
Yeah.
you know, we really have to speak some dreadese here.
Dreadese?
Yeah, look, come on. You know, we've amassed this arsenal. Let's speak dreadese. Let's get frenetic.
Well, let's get frenetic. Well, let's
Yeah.
go.
Come on, let's
let
get
me just
frenetic.
finish off this little
Okay.
paragraph here, because
All right.
he says this. He says, this is an alarming information, all the business about the real story about the Jesuits. The highest echelons in the United States government, the highest echelons in business and finance, and the highest echelons in the schools, colleges, and media are all claiming to be Americans. They are all claiming to be working for the betterment of America. They are all claiming to be working for the preservation of the Constitution. In fact, they are under the control of the Jesuits, the most implacable enemies of this republic. With the patriotic and religious facade, which we saw last night with Obama and with that whole show during the
It was a
State of
show,
the
wasn't
Union,
it?
they are secretly leading America to ruin. Deception is being practiced by the most sinister of foes, the Jesuits of Rome. So
It's true, isn't it?
It's
Yeah.
amazing. All the fathers of American system talked and were aware of this secret society, the Jesuits, and it's not just the Jesuits who are the guys out in Mexico City or
No, they're
looking
all
after
amongst us now. They
feeding
live
the poor.
everywhere. They're all over.
They're
They're
the
everywhere.
useful fools.
Yep.
They're talking about the
The big
Fourth
wigs.
Oath Jesuits.
Of course.
The guys in the top block of the Jesuit pyramid, the organization where the eye is.
But they have powerful positions in our society.
Absolutely.
I mean, they're everywhere.
Yeah, and we'll get into that later. Later on, I'm going to talk about when you can see the power they have. We're going to go into, later on, I want to talk about the sinking of the Titanic and how the sinking of the Titanic was built by the Jesuits. We'll, at the end of the show, we'll talk a little bit about that and how the Fourth Oath Jesuits, Edward Smith, was the Jesuit tempor coadjutor, and he was the captain of the Titanic, and how they take an oath to give their lives, just like the jihadists, just like these jihadists
And the suicide
and
bombers,
suicide
yes.
bombers.
They're all-
this
they're all
guy,
tricked into
they're
it,
all
actually.
tricked into it and said
Well,
they're going to have 35 virgins
yeah.
when they get to heaven and all this,
78.
whatever
But,
it is.
You know, I think what
So
we
we'll
have
come
to
back to
remember
that
too
sinking
is
of
that
Titanic
in
by the
America,
Jesuits.
we're rising from the Third Reich into the Fourth Reich. We're in the Fourth Reich. And 7 U.S. presidents were assassinated.
By the Jesuits.
All of the ones that wanted to do something about the corruption
Yeah.
that was happening were assassinated.
Exactly.
So, I mean, Sherman Skolnick talked about
And
that.
wrote about it.
And wrote about it. So, you know, we have to be aware of that influence. It's been here for quite some time.
Yeah.
Oh.
Let's just go to the... now,
that?
this is a picture of a suitcase atomic bomb.
Wow.
This
Look
is
at that.
what the Jesuits have passed out to
The
all
sleepers?
the sleepers. And, of course, Mrs. Steele, there were, once again, we should mention, since April of last year,
Yeah.
we mentioned that the psychiatrist who programmed the sleepers, we have a death list, the psychiatrist death list. And we said that with the Fort Hood psychiatrist,
Yep.
that was a trigger for the sleepers. There's been a lot of sleepers
Well, we've had a
show
lot of-
up since we predicted
sure.
that. We've been bang on with our prediction. And there's going to be a lot more. Now, this is what some of the sleepers have. what you see on the screen. And if you go to our website, picassaweb.google.com/Lenny Bloom, you'll be able to go.
Is it about the